What's happened, you bad motherfuckers? It's Wednesday, June the 30th. The month is fucking over. The joint is brought to you by Magnesium Breakthrough. Listen, if you're a man, you gotta go to the doctor even if you don't want to. If you're ignoring how you feel, you need to listen to this. Fatigue, anxiety, headaches, all that might come back to one thing. You're not getting enough magnesium. Magnesium Breakthrough is the cure. Magnesium is an amazing fucking mineral. Not only does it help you sleep, it also reduces stress and maintains a regular heartbeat and boosts immunity. I've been on this since I signed with Magnesium Breakthrough, and I gotta tell you something. I take one, they have a special menu for you to take, and it's tremendous. You take week one, you take 1 cap in the AM, 1 in the afternoon, and one hour before you go to bed. And then it increases over time. Then you go to 3 caps an hour before you go to bed. And this will help you with maintenance and sleep optimization. You understand me? 80% of the population is magnesium deficient. I'm amazed at how much better I've been sleeping and how rested I feel in the morning since I've been taking the Magnesium Breakthrough. Now, Magnesium Breakthrough is the only organic supplement that includes 7 unique forms of magnesium. It works fast. I feel it in about 30 minutes. Just pop 2 to 3 capsules before you go to bed and you're tip-top Magoo. So for the joint family, go to magbreakthrough.com/Joey. Again, magbreakthrough.com/Joey and use code Joey10 during checkout to save 10%. That's magbreakthrough, MAG breakthrough.com/Joey and use code Joey10 for 10% off. When you see the Sandman, tell him Uncle Joey sent you. This shit is fucking tremendous. I love it. I use it every night. The joint is also brought to you by Relief Band. Did you know 1/3 of Americans suffer from fucking nausea? I did when I was taking those fucking pain pills. That's why I'm excited about fucking Relief Band. Relief Band was sent to me and I didn't know who the fuck sent it. I thought the surgeon sent it to me. And I found out it was the company, and next thing you know, they were sponsoring me and I was using it. The product is 100% drug-free. It doesn't make you drowsy and has 0 side effects. This used to only be available for hospital patients, but now it's available for everybody, and this is how it works. Relief Band stimulates a nerve in the wrist that travels to the part of your brain that controls nausea. Then it blocks the signal your brain is sending to your stomach, telling you that you're sick. That's fucking science. Relief Band is only over-the-counter wearable band that has been used in hospitals and oncology clinics to help with nausea and vomiting. Listen, when I was recovering from this fucking knee surgery, those pills were fucking killing me. I put the watch on, and between me and you, I only got fucking sick 2 times, once in the car and once I was down here moving around a little bit too quick. Ensure nausea is never the reason to miss out on life's important fucking moments. Right now, Relief Band has an exclusive offer for Uncle Joey Joint listeners. Listen, I know you got family, your parents are old, your uncles. Go to reliefband.com. That's reliefband.com. Use promo code Joey and you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping and a no-question 30-day money-back guarantee. Relief Band, RELIEFBAND.com, and use promo code Joey for 20%. Here it is right here. It's nice, simple. You just go like this. You control how much you want. You could turn it down. This is the Relief Band. That's it. So go to reliefband.com, use promo code Joey, and get 20% off and get some relief from nausea. Let's get this party started. It's fucking Wednesday. Let's talk about a little fucking gambling today, all right?
Hey, how you doing? Come on in. Yeah, Joey's in the back.
Check 1, 2. Welcome to Uncle Joey's Joint.
What's happening, you bad motherfuckers? It's Wednesday, June 30th. It's a beautiful fucking day. Welcome to Uncle Joey's Joint. Today I want to talk to you about fucking gambling, man. Let me tell you a little story about what happened to me. In 1991, when I got divorced, I had a little bit of money in the bank. I had a condo. I had a nice car. I had a truck. I didn't have much money, but I had some money put away. When I got separated and divorced, the fucking divorce destroyed me. It destroyed me, guys. I used every fucking card I had. I think I owed one attorney $100,000, just the one main guy, and I had to pay him because he was referred to me by a friend. You know, at the end, I didn't get what I wanted from the attorney, but I had to go through like 3 different attorneys before I got the main attorney. I was in debt probably $140,000 to attorneys, and I was probably in debt maybe $100,000 on credit cards, and some of it was cocaine. I know a lot of you are going, yeah, you were doing coke, but it wasn't. The thing that killed me was just the attorney fees. I don't know if you've ever hired an attorney for anything. It's $5,000 up front and $300 every time you call them, you know, and this is before emails and shit. I don't know what they charge you for a fucking email. I had to pay that fucking dude back. I had to pay him back. I had to figure out a way. So like a man, I went over to his fucking office and I told him it's going to take time. You know, it was 1992. I'm doing comedy. I'm selling fucking neon and I'm trying the best I fucking can, you know. And on top of that, I had to live. I had to live myself. You know, I was making no money as a comic, maybe $200 a month as a comic, and that was the little hosting gig I had. And I was in all this debt. When I used to work at the Puddle Car Wash, when I was married, these guys would come in. A bunch of them, like 3 or 4 guys would come in once a week with nice cars. They were all New Yorkers, and they would talk to me, and I would ask them what they did, and they would always high-hand me, like, we work for this guy, you know, whatever. This happened for about a year. You know, I asked them if I could get in with them. I didn't know what they did, but I knew they all drove nice fucking cars, a lot nicer than the car I had. And they had families and they had money. So I never really thought about it. I ended up quitting the car wash and I started roofing. But when I got separated, I lost my job with the roofing company because they were my family. So I started selling neon. And one day I get approached by one of the guys and he goes, listen, like in June of 92, the guy comes up to me and he goes, listen, they're hiring in my office and I put your name in the hat because they're looking for East Coast guys and, you know, you have an accent and blah, 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 and that's what works. So I didn't know what he was talking about. You know, I just didn't have no idea. He goes, is this something you're interested in? He goes, how can I be interested in something? I don't know what job you're putting me in for. He goes, I'll set up a meeting with you and you go meet with the guy. And then if you want to train and work for them, I thought it was stocks. I thought it was bonds. I thought it was something to do with something like that, like cold calling people. I couldn't get a stock license because I had the felony. So I didn't know what I was going to do. But when I ended up meeting with the guy, he did something that I had never even knew existed. And he owned a sports betting service. And what they do is you pay them a certain amount of money and they tell you who to gamble on. And I was like, what the fuck? I was 29 years old and I never heard anything like it. You know, I grew up in numbers in my house. My mother had a numbers operation and she bet baseball, but I never knew there were people who gave out information and you paid them. When they came to me and they offered me the job, you know, they offered me, it was like a flat. They said, well, you know, what kind of bills do you have? And I told them that I was in fucking heavy debt. And they said, well, we'll pay you a flat versus commission. For the first month, we'll give you $500 a week, you know, and after that, you're on fucking commission. I was a little scared, you know, we're all hesitant, but when you got a 100% commission job, the good thing about it is there's no ceiling to your fucking income. You control your own fucking income. It takes balls to get involved in something like that. I had done it when I sold cars. You know, when you sell cars, they only give you the fucking $800 a month, you know, $1,200 a month for the first 90 days. After that, you're on commission basis, and you have to learn to live like that. For some people, they can't handle that shit. I fucking said, listen, I got nothing to lose, right? I'm broke as it is already. I'm broke as a fucking joke. What do I have to lose? So I had sold stuff before. I thought I was a salesman before. Like, I knew how to sell, like at a car wash. I knew how to put bids together for roofing, but I had never sold sporting information. So I let myself go, and I went in there and let them train me. And it was fucking interesting work. You worked 6 days a week from, the only day off was Wednesday. And your weekends are fucked. Like, they tell you that when you get the job. Like, if your wife plans something or your girlfriend plans something, you're fucked. But you have a chance of making a ton of fucking money. I went to work for these guys not knowing what to expect. And sure enough, you know, I started in August. And by mid-September, the guarantee ended. And I started making some money. I started making $600 a week. Then in October, I started making like $800 a week. Then in November, I was up to like $1,000 a week, which was a fucking shitload of fucking money for me at the time. And December, everything is on. You got college basketball, you got NBA basketball, you got pro football, you got college football, the bowl games, you got the NHL. I mean, it's high fucking level. And I think that December I ended up making like maybe, I don't know, $8,000 for the month. That was fucking something I had never even dreamed of. January was the Super Bowl, and it slows down a little bit for the playoffs and stuff. And then what they do is, if you had a good year, they let you stay till March Madness. And if you had a really good year up to March Madness, they let you work baseball season. Baseball season, you don't make a lot of money. It's only like maybe 5 or 6 or 7 guys in the office. During football season, it was 17 to 18 guys in a fucking office, yelling, screaming. You know, you got to call people. How you doing, Mike? This is Pete fucking Smith from fucking All-Star Sports. How you doing today? And people like, I don't need your fucking help. Go fuck yourself. And you got to call them back. And it was great work because I loved my job. As soon as I started making money, I loved bugging people. I loved calling people up, and, you know, you call them at work, and they got, you know, anybody will talk to you at work. When they're at work, people will talk to you because they're killing time. They don't give a fuck. They'll talk to you about anything. They'll take the call. They'll let you pitch them. At home, it's a different fucking story. So I would like to call people at work. So I would call them at the office and shit. I never gambled when I was there because it taught me that no matter what you do, people are going to fucking lose. Like, the odds are always against you. So I wasn't gambling when I was there, but I was selling information. But it was really weird. I gambled as a child. I started gambling when I was about 17 because my friends did it. And by the time I was 19, I learned my fucking lesson. It wasn't for me. I couldn't fucking win. Every once in a while I won, but I always caught a fucking beating. I got memorable fucking beatings. I remember one time, this is why I play, if I gamble now, I look a lot at the lines because the lines confuse the fuck out of you. Like, one year the Sixers were hot and fucking they played the Nets, and the Nets were giving the Sixers 4 points. Well, we all took the fucking Sixers, and the Nets beat them outright because it was a sucker's bet. I didn't see that before the fucking the game started, but you know, those are all memorable fucking beatings. I remember one time I owed a bookie money and he came to beat me up with a fucking chain, and 2 days later the guy killed himself. Can you fucking believe that? Like, on a Tuesday, I'm playing basketball behind Hashways. This dude shows up with a fucking chain link, and he goes, I want my fucking $300. I'm gonna bust you in the head with it. And all of a sudden I started putting the money together, and a friend of mine said, don't even bother. The guy killed himself. I mean, that was fucking horrible. And then in 83, before I left to Colorado, we were really involved in gambling. We were, I ended up robbing a fucking jewelry store in 82 because I bet Pittsburgh against Dallas on a Monday Night Football game, and I lost. And there was a teacher I owed the money to, and I couldn't let him down, so I had to pay him. I mean, when you gamble, you got to fucking pay. All those lessons, but the lesson that killed me the most about gambling was my roommate at the time. His name was Fernie. I loved him to death. He had never put a bet in his life before. Never, ever did he put a bet in. And one day he came up to me and he goes, "Hey, man, what are you guys talking about? When you and Stinky talk about sports, what are you guys talking about?" And I go, "We're talking about gambling." He goes, "I want to give it a shot." The first bet he put in, he ended up winning like $1,200, and he went on a fucking tear for 3 months, and he ended up losing at the Super Bowl. He ended up losing $80,000, and he had to pay that back. He had to get 3 fucking jobs. 3 fucking jobs, and he paid it back in the summer. When I saw him go through that, I decided, fuck it. If I'm going to give my money away, I might as well give it to the coke dealer and look out a window, because at least when you do coke, you look out a window, you fucking crawl, you look for little pieces on the floor, you know what I'm saying? When you gamble, you just give your money to some fucking guy on Thursday at a fucking diner. And I didn't like that at all. So I stopped fucking gambling. That was the end of my gambling career. And for years, I never gambled. But after I worked at the sports betting service, I learned so much about degenerate gamblers that it fucking petrified me. But I also learned how to bet smart. That's what I learned after that fucking job. So if you listen to my story, I was a good salesman my first year. I don't know what I made that year. If I made $30,000, not even in 5 months, I was lucky. I don't think I made that. But they told me on January 20th that I was only going to work to the end of the fucking Super Bowl. And I was so fucking depressed about it, because I had tried my heart out to be good at this, that I was heartbroken. I mean, I went into a fucking depression, and that's why I came back here in 1993, in January of 93, because I was so depressed that I didn't lose my job. They just weren't going to take me back till August, and it broke my fucking heart. So that's how much I loved the fucking job. I came back here. I started comedy pretty much with that job. I still remember being in the Broker Joker contest in 91, and the guys from that office coming to see me and cheering me on and me winning. We had a great fucking time in that office. Every Monday night for Monday Night Football, we'd finish at 7, and he'd take us out to dinner at a different restaurant in Boulder, and we'd watch the game. Once every 3 months, he would take us to Vegas for 3 days. We'd stay at the Mirage. We'd go to Steve Wynn's office and look out his balcony onto the Mirage thing blowing up. It was just a great fucking experience for a kid like me. I went back in 93. I was kind of upset with them. So a guy had left that was one of their best salesmen, and I went and worked with him for a few weeks. But then when the main guy called me back and he goes, "What are you doing? I was going to bring you back." I went back to work for them, and I'm happy I did. I ended up working for them for 3 football seasons. My last season was going into the 95 year, and that December I made $60,000 fucking dollars. I must have paid $50,000 to the attorneys. I must have snorted $10,000. I caught up on my child support, and if you guys know my story, in June 25th, we just had the anniversary of 1995. I left Boulder to pursue my comedy fucking career. I never gambled again, I didn't put a bet in till McGregor fought Nate Diaz. That was my first bet the first time. And I got it right. I looked at the to the fucking, to to the weigh-in, and I saw that he flinched. And I remember that I put like $400 on him, and I didn't have that much money in my account. I had to call my wife in the middle of the night. It was like 11:30. I called her, I woke her up, and I go, you got to put more money in my account. And she goes, what are you doing at 11:30 with all this money? I go, I'm not doing blow. I'm just putting in a fucking bet on fucking Nate Diaz. And she goes, you better fucking win because we need this money. And Nate Diaz ended up winning. And, I started betting little UFC fights. I always would go to the UFC fights and bet a little bit at the fights. We would always take like 20s and singles, and me and Ari would bet other people like $5 for this fight, but there was no line involved or anything like that. Now, DraftKings came along and became my sponsor. And just like my sponsors today, Performance and Relief Band and all this stuff, I try everything. For me to try to push something on you, I have to try it first. So when I got DraftKings, I went on their site. I don't know how to play cards. I'm half fucking retarded. I don't know how to really play dice. I never had the patience to fucking sit there. But I know how to play sports, and I didn't get involved with basketball as much or baseball. It was just football, little bets. And then this year, I don't know if you guys remember Danny B from the Church of What's Happening Now. Great friend of mine, great fucking sports bettor. He moved up north, but now he moved back to Pennsylvania, and he's been laying low. I'm going to have him on in a couple of weeks because I miss him. And I started talking to the Philly Godfather. I was looking at his picks on Twitter. Every night I would look at his little free picks on Twitter, and I got to tell you something. He wasn't doing fucking bad, So every once in a while, if I'm bored, I'll see what he's giving out that night, and I'll throw $25, $50 on it, whether it's baseball. If I see there's a game on at night or something, I'll call him up or whatever. And you know what? Right now, I'll show you my fucking DraftKings. I think I'm up. I think I put 500 in there to start, and I still think I'm at like 540. I mean, I'm not a degenerate or whatever, but I'm having a great time. I think Saturday, I bet he gave me a baseball game. There's days, listen, guys, there's times I bet $25 and I win like $10 on a baseball game. And I don't give a fuck. It's just a little fun for me. It's just something to do. This, it was rough for a lot of months, and I hate just sitting there watching TV. I'm not telling you to fucking gamble. You know what? If it's up to me, I'd rather you not gamble. But if you're gonna gamble, I want you to do it the right way. I want you to win money. That's why you gamble, to win money. Little bit of money, to have fun. You're not gonna gamble like I did when I was a kid to fucking do blow. Like I used to gamble like, I need 20,000. I'm gonna bet 20,000. You're not gonna fucking win. You're a loser. What I'm trying to do with this podcast is, if you're gonna gamble, there's a way to fucking do it. Be smart about it. Have somebody who's guiding you. Don't stick to that rule. Stick to that rule. If you do sign with a handicapper, like the guy I'm going to introduce to you today, if he tells you to bet something, bet it the way he tells you. When I worked for the sports of handicapping, I was blessed, and I hate saying that word. I was really fortunate to work for the guys I did because they were honest. Most sports companies that you sign with, they take, let's say tonight, you got Milwaukee, or tonight you got Phoenix against the Clippers. I think tonight's game 7. I don't fucking know, right? If they have 300 people, they'll give 150 people the Clippers, and then they'll give the other half of the people the Phoenix Suns. The company I worked for didn't do that. They were fucking straight up fucking gangsters. They did their homework. I could tell you fucking stories about people they had on the inside, girlfriends of college players, girlfriends and side pieces of mistresses of basketball players and football players. I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus, but that's how if they made $1 million a year, they paid out $500,000 to get little information, just little things that could change the fucking game. It's like an episode of The Sopranos. Paulie Walnuts is talking about one night he's out in a bar and he sees Joe Namath come in, fucking drunk as fuck, And he called everybody he knew and told them to bet against Name It the next day because he was drunk as fuck as midnight and his game was at 1 o'clock. That type of information makes you money. I don't want you to just bet like a fucking Yahoo. I'm doing this podcast today out of respect for DraftKings and out of respect for you guys that have been, hitting me up and going, Joey, we went on DraftKings. We really enjoy it, but I lost. Listen, Vegas, I don't know how to say this. Vegas doesn't get bigger and bigger because Mike Klein and me are winning money. There's no way. The odds of you lose, listen, Pete Rose lost, Michael Jordan lost, and he played the game. There was 10 guys before them who played the game and gambled. They're too heady. You have to know the lines. I think the best that I ever do is when I bet the UFC. A couple weeks ago, I had Moreno, and it was a big upset. I think I bet 25, but I won fucking $75. I bet against Nate Diaz, and I bet, I think $50 to win 10 or to win 20. That was the dumbest bet I ever made in my life, but I just wanted to see if I still knew how to read the lines, and I still know how to read the lines. You got to look at the lines and go, wow, this is weird, especially, with the UFC. They give you the over on the rounds, they'll give you over 4 rounds and stuff like that. So right now at this time, I consider myself really good at the UFC, and that's it. I can't pick a basketball game to save my life. Baseball, I don't know. I don't even know what the standings are. I have no fucking idea. But if you're going to gamble, do me a favor. Do it responsibly and do it with help, and don't be a fucking Yahoo. The guy I'm going to introduce to you now is a great guy. He's legit. I love what he does, and I got to be honest with you, he's won me a little bit of cash. Check it out. It's a very small interview I did. I just wanted to introduce you to him, and I just wanted to talk about this today because a lot of people have been hitting me up ever since I got on DraftKings, and I wanted to do an episode specifically about this. Here's the Philly Godfather. Enjoy. Philly, what's happening, my friend?
What's up, Jay? How you been?
How are you, my buddy?
I'm good.
What's going on? Why are you so quiet today and shit? You're not on Twitter fucking telling people VIP members win $18,000 this weekend. I want to ask you some questions. You've given me some picks the last couple of weeks. You're fucking solid as fuck. I enjoy it. How did you become the Philly Godfather? I want to know this
all the way
fucking
back.
story.
You want the good and the bad, all the way
The
back.
good and the bad. Who gives a fuck? That's what we're here for.
Man, I grew up in Philly, and poor Greek family. My father had hot dog carts, and he stuck me in a hot dog cart at the age of 8, and it was actually the best education I ever could have got. I never went to school. Dropped out of high school in 9th grade. Started working the streets. And you really learn the value of a dollar in a hot dog cart. You learn how to network with people. You meet so many people from so many different, parts of life. We had hot dog carts in Center City. We met doctors and stockbrokers and lawyers, and it was one of the greatest educations I've ever had. And and slowly you start meeting people, and next thing you know, an old childhood friend approached me, and he was moving money for some big guys in Vegas. This is back in 1988. This is before. No one had a computer. No one had a Don Best screen. No one knew what the lines were. Everyone was working off of newspaper lines. And he approached me, and he knew I knew a lot of people. And I was a street kid. And he said, if you can find me some bookies, we can make some money. And that's how it all started, man. A long time ago, Joe.
What do you mean if he found you some bookies? Like he had information, he had it?
He was getting a lot of information from Vegas. He was moving money for some of the sharpest sports bettors in the world back then. There's no reason to mention their names, but
right.
He wanted me to find outs for him. He wanted me to find guys we can bet with, and he was going to give me a 20% with a work off. What that meant was, if I can find him 10 bookies and we win $10,000 a week, my pay was $2,000 out of that 10 grand, and the rest we had to turn in, and then they would turn it out to Vegas. So I was a mover. I was moving money for some of the sharpest guys out in Vegas back then as a kid. I was 18, 19 years old, and that's how I got started as a mover. And at first I thought he was bullshitting me because back then I didn't know. You hear gamblers, degenerate gamblers, and you think they're all losers. But these guys had the hot games. They had the best information, the sharpest information in the world, and slowly he didn't have to tell me no more. I mean, every week we were winning money, and every week, my bankroll was kept stacking. So that's basically how it all started. I was a mover. I was moving money for some of the sharpest guys in the world. And later on, I realized, like, what if I lose these outs? What if I can't get them these connections? I wanted to learn how to handicap the games. So I kind of reverse engineered the games that we were moving on. I was trying to figure out, why are they betting these baseball games? Was it the weather? Was it the humidity? Was it the pitching? Was it the umpires? Was it the stadiums? What made the ball, go out? Some nights you watch baseball, they hit 5-6 home runs, and other nights they can't hit the ball at all. So what made that ball pop in baseball? And a lot of it had to do with weather. So I basically reverse engineered the games, whether it was baseball, football, basketball, college basketball. And the more you get into it, the more you start learning about regressional stats. What regressing to the means is, different factors, historical probabilities on these games, what happened in the past, and how it may affect the future. So you start looking for predictive indicators. You start looking for little bits of gold that'll help you when you're trying to make an educated guess on these games in a night to night.
Now, how does reading the line come into this? Because I took a beating as a kid. You looked at the lines and you got sucked in. The biggest beating I took was, I think, like the Chargers were playing Oakland on a Monday night game, and they were giving 7. The line went up to 7.5. So we decided to bet it, and we got killed, and I had to rob a jewelry store to fucking pay the bookie, because, you got to pay the book. I mean, he was a friend of mine, like I knew him. He was a teacher at the high school, so I knew him, and I had to give him the money, and I got turned off by it. Once I lost, I said, listen, if I'm going to gamble, I'll gamble on me. I'd rather snort coke and look out a window than fucking give money to a bookie every Thursday. That's what got me away from gambling. But then in 91, I hooked up with a sports betting crew, and I looked at it from a different perspective. I wasn't betting the games. I looked at it as they were great salesmen. They knew exactly what they were doing. But I learned a lot, like you said, from gambling, from being on the phones and calling people. And when they would when a lot of people would tell me the same pick, I would see it lose. So if I would call you and say, Philly, it's Pete, I'm going with I got a two game parlay, whatever. You would say, what do I need you for? I got the Mets tonight, or I got the fucking Yankees tonight. You get 10 Yankees, they're going to lose.
Yeah, you definitely want to be on the other side of the public. I mean, the bookie wins a lot more than they lose, but the squares win as well. And that's why I tell people all the time, the worst thing you can do is wake up on a Sunday during the NFL season and remember what happened last week. Recency bias will get you killed when you're looking to place a wager. If you haven't done your research, you haven't done your homework on these games, and you just wake up on a Sunday and you're like, they look great last week, I'm betting them again. Well, that's a recipe for disaster. I mean, before you buy your first home, you're going to look around the neighborhood. You're going to run the comps. You're going to check out the school districts. You're going to look at the upgrades in the house. You're going to try and find value in that house before you make that purchase. And I know when I bought my first home, I probably looked at 40 houses before I bought a house. I probably spent about 200 hours before I made that purchase. Now imagine you just spent 4 or 5 hours a day on a certain game, handicapping that game and researching that game. You're going to have a better chance of winning that game than losing that game. But most people don't put the work in. And that's what we do. We spend about 10, 12 hours a day researching, as much information as possible. But at the end of the day, it's an educated guess. And this is a market like any other market, man. You're going to have your wins, you're going to have your losses. But if you do your homework and you really look at the games for what they are, and you can find some clarity in the market, and you like the price, you're going to make some money.
I got hooked up with DraftKings, and I like any other sponsor I have. I go into the products. I want to see if the products are any good before I pass it on. You know what I'm saying? And what I started doing maybe when I moved here, a friend of mine invited me over every Sunday to watch football with his childhood friends, Jimmy Florentine. Great bunch of guys, And I would just throw in side bets there, and it was just for fun, $20, $30, whatever. And then I finally opened up the DraftKings account. And I started having fun, but it wasn't like when I was a kid. I wasn't, when I was betting as a kid, I was betting to snort coke. And to get laid, like I was trying to figure it out. How much do I need this week? I need 2 8-balls. I need to take her out to dinner. I need to make rent. Okay, so I need 1,800. Let me call the book and put a bet in for 2,000, and I lose 10 out of 10 times. Now I got to hide for a week. I got to rob. I got to borrow. So it just, I didn't fucking, now I bet 25, $50. You know I can't sit and watch a whole fucking game, but I'll watch a quarter. You know, I'll watch this. I'll watch a couple innings, you know. Just you're sitting here anyway. You're going to sit here a fucking night. Every night there's an NBA game on. Every night there's a couple. I have, 10,000 fucking channels. I don't have any other sports packages or anything. But I just find it, like, I'm having a good time. It's not an everyday thing, I made some really good money on the fights last time. I picked some of the underdogs. I'm looking forward to the fights this time around. I'm looking at that. The NBA Finals, this whole fucking thing, you can't call it anymore. Kwame's out. How do you work with all these, like, Kwame Leonard's out, the other guy had COVID. I just avoid the game.
I mean, there's so many moving parts, but
right.
Regressional stats. I mean, we'll take the Clippers for example. I mean, Paul George puts up 40. Reggie Jackson put up 20. Morris put up 20. They kind of outperformed their norm. They almost doubled their output in scoring, and that's going to be hard to continue against the Phoenix Suns team that plays some great defense. So I know they played lights out last game, and they won the game over Phoenix as 7-point underdogs. But to continue to play at that elevated, level, to come in and night out and give it an optimum performance, it's going to be very difficult for the Clippers to beat the Suns. I know the Suns are up 3-2. We got futures on the Suns at 49-1 that we gave out at the beginning of the season. So we're kind of happy with the position we have. But in all honesty, I can't see the Clippers winning this series. It's going to be very difficult. Paul George is going to have to play lights out. That whole team's going to have to, play above what they're used to playing in order to beat the Suns. I don't see that happening. With the Hawks now, Trey's banged up. It's going to be tough for the Hawks to beat this Milwaukee's team. We already saw the total go from 222 to 218 on this matchup tonight, and that's basically because no one knows if Trae Young's going to be 100% or not. I mean, he's been playing lights out. He's been carrying that team. He's like the new Allen Iverson. I mean, he's unbelievable. He's so hard, to match up with. But if he's not 100%, that team don't have no chance. So, injuries are big. Guys are banged up right now. It's late in the season. I think it's going to be Milwaukee against Phoenix in the finals, and it's going to be a great series.
How many people work to make the Philly Godfather do his thing? How many people you have?
There's a bunch of guys. We got 6 guys in the office. I got another 5 guys running numbers, crunching numbers. So there's 11 to 12 guys. Some guys leave, some guys come back. But it's just it's a big operation. It's not easy to do a one-man operation. I mean, we bet every sport 7 days a week, 365 days a year. And if you don't have 7, 8, 9, 10 guys helping you, it's not going to happen.
Well, it's like having the Yankees. When the Yankees make their team, the Yankees say, well, we're going to have, for us to win the World Series, 4 guys have to be batting 300. Okay? 4 guys. Not all 9 guys, but 4 guys got to be hot. So you don't know who's going to be hot at some time of the year. When the Yankees would build their fucking championship teams, the guy you expected to be fucking hot during the playoffs goes cold, and some other guy comes to fucking life.
That's
what
true.
I'm saying? That you never really expected. I think back to the 75 World Series when the Cincinnati Reds played the Boston Red Sox. I don't know what year it was. 70. Tony Perez did great the whole season. Come the World Series against the Red Sox, he's 0-17. Going into Game 6, and he bangs a single in Game 6, and they fucking win it. So he went 1 for 17, but the 1 mattered. It's the same with your team.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of variance. It's a long year.
Right.
On randomness, even though it's an educated guess and we've done our homework, it's the law of big numbers, man, of infinite numbers. We can go 17-2, and then we can go 2-15. It's just, we're betting on randomness. You never know what happens. You can bet on the Kansas City Chiefs, and they're killing everybody. Then Mahomes breaks his leg in a football game, and there goes your bet. So anything and everything can happen. We've seen it over the years. So, yeah, there's a lot of variance involved. But as long as you keep plugging away, as long as you keep doing your homework and your research, you know, in football, to beat that VIG, to beat that minus 110, you got to win 52.4% of your wages or more. And that's what we do. We've done it for the past 30 years and we continue to do it. But there's a lot of hard work involved. And you're going to have your runs, your good runs. You're going to have your hot streaks, your cold streaks. But at the end of the year, we always end up with the money because we do our homework. It's just like any other market, man. If you do your homework, you're going to make money. If you just start picking games and betting games because you like what you saw last, you're in trouble.
No, I don't like losing money. You know me. I don't like losing money, especially fucking gambling. So for me to bet something, like you help me from time to time. With fights, I'm good because I learned from Rogan a lot about fighting. But Rogan is so knowledgeable about the fight game. I look at the line for fights where he doesn't look at that, you know. I mean, people will tell you, I have people say to me, well, how can you win when Michael Jordan fucking played basketball and couldn't win? Pete Rose played baseball and was losing games. You know, they get too involved in it. That's why I think that I like putting in maybe if I was a full-time gambler, I would bet anywhere from 5 to 6 games a week. That's my biggest odds of winning, is keeping my action low, you know, and hitting them heavy for every fucking thing I got. That's the way I learned to gamble. If you're going to bang a motherfucker out, bang them out for everything. Once you start doing the parlays and the teasers and all that shit, that's when you get in trouble. That's what I feel. I'm not a genius, but that's how I feel from my years of doing this shit.
Yeah, I mean, if you bet a 14 parlay, right, and you win 2 and you lose 2, you lose the parlay. But if you bet the game straight up, you break even, you pay a little vig on the side. So that's basically, parlays are difficult to hit. You know, they're more for fun. But like I said, DraftKings had a great promotion for me. They gave me 50% on my sign-up bonus. I actually went down to AC, and I fired away on the Houston Astros. Now, the Astros, we had taken them at 16-1, which was a great bet. Their odds right now are down to 6.5-1. Now, the other day I was down there, and they were still around 8-1. But they gave me such a huge sign-up bonus. I threw another 1,000 on the Astros at 8-1, and they gave me about 4,500 in free money. So I put the whole 4,500 on the Astros as well. So now I increased my odds from 8-1 to 44-1 with those free bets. That's why I love DraftKings so much, because of, you know, the stuff they give out. And the reason why I like the Astros so much is they had one of the toughest schedules in the first half of baseball season, and they got the best run differential in baseball right now. And in the second half of the baseball season, they got one of the easiest schedules, while the Oakland A's, who are a great team and they're right behind them, they got one of the toughest schedules in the second half of baseball season. So I see the Astros winning that division. And the other reason why I like them is, come the trade deadline, they're going to go out and they're going to get somebody they need, where teams like Tampa Bay, teams like Oakland, teams like San Fran that are more analytically driven, they really don't do that. They stick with the guns that they have. And I don't see them spending money like the Astros spend money. Tampa Bay had one of the cheapest payrolls. Oakland always has one of the cheapest payrolls, where Houston will go out and get that big stud pitcher. So I think Houston can make a deep run. I think they got a great shot at winning the playoffs. They got a chip on their shoulder. Everyone from New York hates them. Everyone calls them cheaters. So I think they got that driving force behind them, plus the fact that they got one of the easiest second half schedules in baseball. And I'm sitting at 44-1. I mean, I got big money on them just with DraftKings. I got 5,500 with DraftKings. I got another 4 dimes on the street at 16-1. So I think they're the team that you can make some money on.
That's fucking amazing. That's amazing that you narrowed it down that much to a fucking science. Like I said, I wanted to have you on to explain to people, you know, what you do, the percentages. You know, people call you up and say, I'd go 80%. Nobody goes fucking 80%. If you go 80%, you wouldn't be fucking telling me. You'd be in fucking Vegas, you know, driving around. Like, I knew a guy who used to play blackjack. And he's from Philly, probably a friend of yours. And I saw him go into, I saw him. You know, I used to open for dice on the road. And he would meet us at the dice show. And then me, him, Jim Norton, Bobby Lee would all go gamble with him. And, you know, he'd go into, let's say, the Mirage. He would go into a private fucking room. A guy would bring his chips, you know, and he would play for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and he had a system, and he'd make $65,000. I mean, he bought dice a fucking Escalade. I mean, it was crazy. He gave me $3,000.
He was counting cards.
What's
he was
that?
counting cards, right? He was
Yeah.
probably counting cards.
He got thrown out of a couple casinos. He's still out in Vegas. He's still making money. I don't know how the fuck he does it. But, he showed us. He goes, I just go in there for 20. Anything over 30 or 40 minutes, my odds of losing increase. He goes, I know what I'm going to do by the first 20 or 25 minutes. I won't sit there past. He had different pointers because it's all a game of numbers. It's percentages. So
that's what it is. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's the same amount of low cards as high cards. 7, 8s, and 9s are neutrals. We used to count cards. But they've made it so difficult for you to win, even at counting cards, because they changed the bet spreads, the way you can fire away. Once they realize that you're counting, all the pitfalls come down, and they basically throw you out, or they tell you they'll shuffle after every deal. So you got to really camouflage what you're doing at the blackjack table. We did it back in the 90s. We got thrown out of AC so many times, but it's a lot of work. I mean, there's times and your edge is so small, and they've made it even smaller over the years. But it is a lot of work. Sometimes we'd sit at that table for 4 or 5 hours and the count wouldn't come and we end up losing money. So it's just like any other business, man. You got to work hard. You got to stay focused. And if you got a small edge, you got to take advantage of that edge and you got to fire, because that's how you make money in this business.
What do you guys usually do a week? Like on a right now you have baseball and basketball. This isn't really the busiest time of the year. I know once October comes, that's your fucking heyday. You got football, you got NBA basketball, you got fucking hockey, you got bowl season in December. I mean, it's a fucking, now it's like a lot of people don't understand baseball gambling, so they don't do it. Guys like me, my mother bet baseball. I don't know how to bet baseball. I don't even know what the fucking Yankees are doing. You told me about Houston. I thought they were cheaters. Yeah, I don't fucking know what's going on. But, like, what kind of numbers are you doing a week now during this? Like, I call this the slow time. A lot of people aren't getting involved.
Yeah, we call it the dead zone. Even though the NBA playoffs, they're winding down. Baseball right now, it depends. I mean, it depends what our edge is. If we find a strong edge, we might increase our bet size to maybe like a 4 times bet or a 3 times bet, and we'll fire away. But average plays a day for me, you might get anywhere from 1 to like 5 plays a day tops, even with the NBA rocking right now. Football season is a lot more. You got football, you got college football, and then college basketball kicks in. And you know how many games are during college basketball season, and then the NBA comes back. So there's a lot more volume there. But yeah, we fire in the NFL. I mean, you see my futures tickets the last 4 years, 2017, before the season started, I gave out the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. 2018, I had the Bears, but I had them at 95-1. And if you remember in those playoffs, the Eagles barely beat the Bears, the Saints barely beat the Eagles, and the Rams barely beat the Saints. So I thought that was wide open that year. That's why I took such a long shot with the Bears, which was a great bet. The following year, we came back. And then last year I had San Fran. The year before that I had San Fran at 28-1. I had them to win the West. I had them win the NFC. And last year, if you remember back in March on Twitter, I gave out the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 50-1 to win the Super Bowl, and the Buffalo Bills at 30-1. Now the Bills almost got there, but the Buccaneers got us the money. So we've had some good seasons with the NFL over the last 4 years.
What's your strongest? Football is probably your best, or is it basketball, or is it baseball? What does the Philly Godfather think his specialty is?
Man, it's got to be the NFL, then college football, then college basketball. College basketball is very random. And I tell people all the time, college basketball is very difficult because the lines move so fast, and you might see a 3, 4, 5 point move on total, sometimes even higher than that. So if I bet a game, I'll move the line, and by the time you get it, it might have moved a point or two, and you lose a lot of the value. A lot of the value has been extracted out of that number. Where in the NFL, it's a big market. It's the King Kong of sports betting. There's so much money being brought into the market where it's harder to move the lines. And I think you got a better shot at winning in the NFL, in college football. College basketball is a little more difficult.
If somebody is looking to place some bets or need some help, how do they contact you?
Just go to my website. We never solicit no business. I don't have an 800 number. I don't call people. I don't send spam emails. We basically have a zero acquisition fee. We don't spend no money on advertising. We let our resume speak for ourselves, and everything's documented. I've given it all out on Twitter, given it all out on social media, all the radio shows, the TV shows I do. You just go to the phillygodfather.com. You stop by my Twitter account at Philly Godfather, and that's basically it.
You're a fucking G, brother, and I'm happy you took the time today to zoom in with me because I think the world of you. You know, you've given me some winners, and I really wanted to expose you to the world. I think you're a good guy, and you have great intentions. I know that they're writing a movie about you. I mean, you're the real deal. You know Danny, and you know Tim, and you know all the whole fucking crew, and I love you. You know, I love that you keep in touch, and I really wanted to let people know you're available to them. Like, if they want to bet with DraftKings or whatever they want to do, if they got a bookie, whatever, you know, it's great to fucking collect. It's great to win, you know, and I just wanted to help people and turn them on to you and what you do, brother.
I appreciate it. I'll give you guys some NFL futures. We bet, if that's cool with you. I bet the Patriots to go over 9 wins. I bet them plus 150 to make the playoffs. I bet the Chargers over 9 wins. I got a huge bet on the Browns over 10.5 wins, regular season win totals. I got the Browns winning the Super Bowl at 20-1. This team is stacked. I know this team has sucked for maybe 20 years. For excluding last year, they had one of the worst records in the NFL. But good things come to the people that wait. And this year, this Cleveland Browns team is stacked. They got a great shot to get there. In the NFC side, I think there's a lot of value on Washington. I took them at 70-1 as a long shot. 49ers are going to be a lot better this year. They were one of the most injured teams in the NFL last year. But the Browns, the Chargers, watch out for those teams. Watch out for the 49ers, and watch out for the Washington football team.
That's fucking crazy. It's June, and you're already talking football. You're already betting football. So your Jimmy is prepared. I love you, Philly. Keep me posted. If anything comes in, you know where to find me, all right? I love you to death. And the webpage again is?
ThePhillyGodfather.com.
There you go, you bad motherfuckers. I hope you enjoy Philly. I'll be in touch, all right, brother? Thank you very much for coming on Uncle Joey's Joint on a fucking Wednesday afternoon.
Thank you.
Stay black. Thank you. All right, we're back. I hope you enjoyed that today, guys. I just wanted to do a little thing on gambling today. Just because I got a couple guys on Patreon hit me up. A couple guys on Twitter have hit me up. You know, they've joined DraftKings because of me. Thank you. And they wanted to just learn what the fuck was going on. Like I said, I'm not here to make you gamble. I don't want you to lose your house. I don't want you to, you know, I was just talking to my brother about a dear friend of ours who is having a lot of problems with it. He doesn't stop. You know, he has hidden sites and all this shit. I don't want you to go there. When you place a bet, if you go on DraftKings, I want you to bet with your fucking head, you know, $25, $30, $50. You're not taking food out of your family's fucking mouth. I'm not here to promote gambling in that sense. I'm here to promote gambling in a fun way. You know, during the football season, you're a Cleveland Browns fan. You bet Cleveland Browns, like the man said. You know, he gave you some great picks on here for the year for football. And if you enjoy him, and if you like betting baseball or basketball, whatever you fucking like, you always have the fucking option to hit the Philly Godfather and at least win a little bit. Like I said, people get hot and people get cold. Like we discussed, the Yankees, they count on 4 guys being hot in October. That's why they pay for 7 guys. They know 3 guys are not going to fucking, and that's the same thing with us as gamblers. The more you bet, the more you lose. If you bet every fucking day, the odds are higher. If you bet on what you truly like and what you truly believe in and what you truly know about, and you keep it to 3 bets, I'd rather make 3 bets a week at 100 and go 2 out of 3 and, you know, make $150 a week. That's $600 a fucking month you make off gambling if I had to. It's not what I want to do. When I gamble, like I said, it's for fucking shits and giggles. I'm not in business I'm not laying 5 dimes. That's never been me. I work too hard for my fucking money, and I got mouths to feed, and I got a fucking daughter. These guys that go out on the limb, no. I promote it for you to have a good time. It's an option, and that's it. It was the Wednesday joint. I hope you enjoyed the fucking trailer for the Many Saints in Newark. I put it up on Twitter. I put it up on Patreon. It made my fucking heart beat. When my friend sent it to me, I almost fucking passed out. Like I said on my Patreon podcast, I'm very, very proud of the work I did in this movie. I think I did my homework on this movie. I got to learn about how David Chase, how he, David Chase made an intervention funny. That is fucking hilarious. If you ever see the Sopranos, when they had the intervention, you laugh your fucking ass off, I just worked with Benny on that TV show I told you about from the Sopranos, and I told him, I go, I fell in love with David Chase before I even knew him when he made an intervention funny. So I'm very proud of this movie. It comes out October 1st. That's all I got to promote. I got no fucking dates. I got nothing. All I got is my heart, some laughs, and this fucking movie right now. So the joint was short today. It was sweet and to the fucking point. We'll be back Monday after the 4th of July to rock your fucking world. It's going to be a slow fucking weekend. People ain't going to be on the fucking computers anyway, but if you are on the fucking computer, I'll be around. I won't be around Saturday and Sunday, but I'll be around up to Friday fucking around. So if you need me, hit me up. I love you guys. Have a great week. Thank you for watching The Joint. And now for a word from our motherfucking sponsors, Jack. All right, I want to thank you guys. I want to thank the Philly Godfather. I want to thank Mike, everybody, for the support to The Joint. But I also want to thank our sponsors. The Joint is brought to you by Relief Band. Listen, 1/3 of Americans suffer from fucking nausea, right? When I got the surgery, I was nauseous all the fucking time from the pain pills. That's why I'm excited about Relief Band. Relief Band is #1 FDA cleared anti-nausea wristband that has been clinically proven to relieve and prevent nausea and vomiting. Check it out, bitches, right there. Nice. The product is 100% drug-free, and it doesn't make you drowsy and has 0 side effects. This is the kind that you could only get this in a hospital, but now it's available to everybody, and Uncle Joey's giving it to you motherfuckers. Here's how it works. Relief Band stimulates a nerve in the wrist that travels to the part of the brain that controls nausea. Then it blocks the signal sending to your stomach telling you that you're sick. Relief Band is the only over-the-counter wearable band that has been used in hospitals and oncology clinics to treat nausea and vomiting. Listen, like I said in the beginning, when the fucking pain pills get to you, any type of pill I take, I get fucking nauseous stomach. Ever since I've had my fucking Relief Band, nausea is gone. And sure, nausea never is the reason to miss out on life's important moments. Right now, Relief Band has an exclusive offer. You ready for this? Go to reliefband.com and use promo code Joey, and you'll receive 20% off plus free shipping and no questions asked on a 30-day money-back guarantee. It's Relief Band, RELIEFBAND.com. Use promo code Joey for 20% off and get some relief and never get nausea again. I know you guys got parents, grandparents, uncles, maybe they have nausea. This makes a nice little fucking gift for them, whatever. Give it a shot. The Joint is also brought to you by Magnesium Breakthrough. Listen, I never even knew what magnesium was. But if you're an older man like me, or if you're a man, you got to go to the doctor even if you don't want to. If you're ignoring how you feel, you need to listen to this, all right? Fatigue, anxiety, and headaches all might come back to one thing. You're not getting enough magnesium. I didn't know anything about this. Magnesium Breakthrough is the cure. Magnesium is an amazing mineral. Not only does it help you sleep, it also helps you reduce stress, maintain regular heartbeat, and boost immunity. I take 1 pill in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 3 before I go to bed at night, right here. Boom. They also have tremendous digestion, energy. These are veggie caps, ketogenesis. You also have probiotics. I mean, listen, Magnesium Breakthrough is not just about magnesium. Do me a favor. It all starts by you going to magbreakthrough.com and /Joey and use code Joey to get 10% off. Joey 10 to save 10%. 80% of the population is magnesium deficient. If you don't get the right amounts, you'll eventually end up going to the doctor for some reason. I'm amazed how much better I sleep and how rested I feel in the morning. You guys see me, I'm looking good. That's because I've been taking this program for the last 2 months. Plus, I feel more relaxed and at peace throughout the day. Magnesium Breakthrough is the only organic supplement that includes 7 unique forms of magnesium. It works fast. I feel it in about 30 minutes. Just pop 3 capsules before you go to nappy nunu time, and that's it. But what we're gonna do is, it all starts by you going through magbreakthrough.com, M-A-G breakthrough.com. Read, learn, and if you like it, press Joey 10 during checkout to save 10%. That's magnesiumbreakthrough.com/Joey and use Joey 10 for 10% off. Listen, when you wake up in the morning, you'll fucking thank me. And then you go back to Mag Breakthrough and tell them Uncle Joey sent you. I want to thank Magnesium Breakthrough, and I want to thank Relief Band for having our backs this week. But most importantly, I want to thank you guys for always having my back, whether it's on Patreon, here, YouTube, Twitter. I love you cocksuckers. I hope you enjoyed the trailer. I hope you're as excited as I am. And I'll see you guys Monday the 5th. Tip top Magoo, ready to fucking go. I love you. Stay black, cocksuckers. Have a great weekend.